So for today's lesson, we're doing prefixes. Okay. So in particular, what are they, and how we use them. And this is prefixes kind of come under grammar, and they're very useful, and you just use them all the time. So it's best to know how we use them. So prefixes, what are they? So they're basically a group of letters that change the meaning of a word when they're added to the start of the word, okay? So if we look at this word below, untidy, untidy. When we're looking at prefixes, this bit of the word is the prefix, and that's our un, which comes at the start of the word untidy. This part of the word, though, is our root word. Our root word. And the root word is basically the main part of the word, the root of it, okay? So when we add this prefix on, it changes the meaning of the whole word. So let's take an example, for instance. So if I said my room, if I'd cleaned up my room and my room was tidy, you'd say, oh, your room's tidy. But if I didn't listen to my mum and all the clothes were all over the floor, you'd say the room is untidy. And un, the prefix un, it stands for not. Not. So when we add this at the start of the word, it changes the meaning to not tidy. But we symbolise that by adding un at the start. Okay, so it will get a bit easier as we do more examples. So let's move on. So we've got our prefix on again. And as I said before, on usually means not. And if we look at these examples, unhappy, like our little SpongeBob here, unlocked, unfair, undo. So it basically means not happy. The door is not locked. It's not fair, or it's not done up. Okay, so that's what the prefix, which is found here, 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 and here, is standing for. And again, if we look at these words, we could straight away see that the root word in this word, for instance, is happy. The root word in the word unlocked is locked. The root word in this word is fair. And the root word in undo is do. So by adding un at the beginning, we're changing the whole meaning. So in this instance, SpongeBob is unhappy. He's not happy, so he's unhappy. That's why we add un at the beginning of the word. So let's look at an example of another prefix. So we've got the prefixes dis and miss. And these are very, very common ones as well, and we use them at the beginning of words, such as disappear, disagree, misbehave. And these dis and miss, they usually have negative meanings, like misbehave, if someone disagrees with you, or if somebody disappears. And again, we've got our root word, which is appear. We have our root word in here, that's agree. And we also have our root word here, which is behave. But by adding these prefixes, miss and dis, at the beginning of our words, it's changing the meaning, and it usually has a more negative kind of meaning. Task 2. Let me just change my pen colour. So we have our prefixes on this side of the page. So we have on, dis, miss and re. And on this side of the page we have our root words, fortune, cycle, well and belief. Fortune, cycle, well and belief. So we need to match which prefix goes with which root word. So we have on. So let's try and match them up. So unfortune, uncycle, unwell or unbelief. And we know that unwell matches. And that means that you're not well. If someone's unwell, it means that they're ill, or they've got a cold or something. So you say, oh, my friend's unwell. So that makes sense. Let's look at the next one, dis. The prefix dis So let's look. Disfortune, discycle, disbelief. Disfortune, discycle, or disbelief. We know that disbelief matches. And disbelief, it kind of means not to believe. So if someone stared in disbelief, it means that they're absolutely shocked and they can't believe what they're seeing. So the next prefix is miss. So we've only got two left. So misfortune or miscycle. I'd say it's misfortune. And what does misfortune mean? So fortune kind of means luck, when you get lucky. Misfortune means when you almost have bad luck, if you're misfortunate. So that makes sense going together. And finally, recycle. And I'm sure everyone knows this one. Recycling is when you kind of reuse and repurpose materials like plastics, and that's why we put them in the green bin, because a lot of plastics get recycled into new materials and new products. So that's how these prefixes are changing the meanings of the root words when they're used together. So multiplying fractions, and multiplying fractions is very easy once you get the hang of it. So here we have 2/5 times 2/3. So we want to know what the product of this is. What does it equal to? So there's two rules. The first is we multiply the two numerators, which are our top two. These are the numerators. I'm going to put tiny m down here. And we multiply our two denominators by each other, and I'm going to put a D here for denominator. So our bottom two numbers are the denominators, the top two numbers are the numerators. So we draw our line, and all we do is times our two numerators, our two top numbers. So 2 times 2 equals what? 2 times 2 equals 4. Well done. And then we look at our denominators, 5 and 3, and then we multiply them. 5 times 3 equals what number? It equals 15. And then, okay, so we've got our answer, but doesn't always stop there. We look here, can we simplify this any further? And the answer is no, we can't simplify 4/15 any further. So the answer stays like that. And that's right, that's the right answer, 4/15. So this is example 2, and we do exactly the same as what we did before. So again, let's put our labels. These are our numerators, these are our denominators. Okay, our bottom's denominator, numerator is the top. So we want to times our numerators. So 1 times 2, and then we want to times our denominators, 2 times 4. So what's the product of this? So 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 4 is 8. So we get the answer 2/8. Can we simplify this any further? The answer is yes, we can. The greatest common factor of these two numbers is 2. So we do 2 divided by 2. We divide this number by 2, we get 1, and then we divide our bottom number, our denominator, by 2, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So the answer to that is 1/4. This is the most simple version of our answer. So that's the answer, 1/4.